Welcome to Parked Up Garage.
Well, hello everybody. I'm gonna give you one of them good old southern hi there's. How's your mom and them? I was out here today and I just got to thinking, I was like, let me flip you around. As you can see, I'm under the valve covers of one. This has got that two-piece valve cover on it. It's a D13. But they want me to do injector O-rings on it. That's okay. Finally got a little bit of decent weather right here. I go ahead and get this thing knocked out. It's Sunday sometime in May towards the end. But one thing I wanted to show you about when I was telling you a few videos back on, hey, get you some of them zip ties. Zip tied up around them rocker arms and it'll help you out. This is what I was talking about. You run it around all of them. You're on your exhaust rocker with your Jake rocker made onto it. It's got a clip that goes up here that holds that down. Some people call it a spring. But once you've got all the bolts out, and I've done explain how to do that procedure. But what I was telling you about stuffing some rags and everything back here in the back, because this piston right here for the compression brake slides up in that rocker right there. Let me get where you can see it. And that thing will always fall out in this rocker arm. But I'm not gonna, this is for your exhaust, but I'm not gonna pull that up to show you, but there's a cavity right here. One of them gentlemen likes to end up down in there, and if it's that exhaust rocker, you've had a bad day. I mean, it'll get it down there in that gear group, and you ain't getting it out. And then you got like at least a dozen other opportunities of when you're pulling that compression brake clip off them little itty bitty bolts. And them back two back there, if you don't get your fumbling fingers on them quick enough, one of them is going to end up down in that gear group too. So I stuff that full of rags, make sure everything's covered up so nothing get down in there. But I'm going to get on with this process. I would show you, I'm going to put a pry bar under here and one under there. We'll get in, I'm going to lift this up on that camshaft. Now, you and I both know that while I'm holding this Spielberg 5000 right here, trying to explain this to y'all, I got to come up with a third hand to figure out how to hold you guys where you can look over the shoulder while I got two more hands prying that up. Ain't gonna happen. So I'm gonna get it pried up over there, and you'll just know, hey, I got to get the pry stick under there and do that. But let me get that set up on there, then I'll show you the injectors. And then I'll get one of them injectors popped out. Then I'm going to show you what to look for in the cups. Hey, do I need to put cups in it? Which most of the time, if you're going to do O-rings, especially on 13, if it's got more than 300,000 miles on it, yeah, put them in there. But when you're doing a quickie parking lot job like this, and you got to get it done because the thing's got to go out at midnight, yeah. You put all them O-rings on the injectors, you paste the bottom of it up real good, you send her on down the road. But y'all give me about a minute or 11 and I'll be back shortly. Alright then. That literally took less than 5 minutes to get that up there, but if I was trying to hold you guys and do it, it'd have been 50 minutes. Now, like when I put the pry stick up under it, if you look, where the two bolts come down through the shaft here, your forward facing one has always got this sleeve on it, every one of them. So when you put the pry stick up under the shaft, you want to get it up there where you can get it behind that sleeve. Then I always use my shorter pry stick on this one back here because this damn hose will get in your way right here. If you get that pry stick behind the sleeve, you're not really lifting up, you're just going to pull up on the pry stick a little bit, and it'll shove that whole rocker shaft right back over on those pedals. And I should have showed you on the top right here of that cam cap, there's a little And that mug makes it just nice for, don't muscle that thing. Finesse it. You know, just be gentle with it. And when you're rolling your pry stick up behind that sleeve, and you just do them both at the same time, gentle like, it'll ease that rocker shaft right up on them cam caps and drop it right down in that notch, and it won't go on over. And it gives you this room to get back in here to this bolt that on this injector hold down for the injector. And you can see all the way down through there, you can get to every one of them like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this number 1 injector popped out. I usually like to start at number 6, work my way to the front, because they get easier as I come up through there. But for showing you guys, and I'm going to show you on 1, and then I'm going to go ahead and just and do the other 5 and get this thing knocked out. But I'll get this thing popped out of here real quick. It'll take, you know, a minute or 7. It's not too terrible bad. And then, you know, the hole that you're going to have in the bottom, put your cylinder sucker down in there and evacuate all the what little oil is going to run down in there and the fuel. When that injector pops out of that hole, there should be some residual pressure, fuel pressure in his head, and it's going to go down in there. So you're going to need to evacuate that out of all these holes. If you don't, you'll hydro the damn thing. Possibly bend a rod. I mean, you know, things can happen. Just saying. But give me another minute or 11, and I'll be right back with you. All right, then. I got the bolt out. I'm going to try to do this one-handed. I don't know how it's going to work, but got the injector hold-down bolt out. You can see that's loose. I'll take this lady slipper right here. See if I can. Well, I got to shove that back forward a little bit. You got to keep that injector hold-down in there a little bit and pry. Yeah. Look at there. Pop it right up out there. Now, see if I can keep my finger on it and grab the injector all at the same time. Looky there. Now, the reason why they've done seen it enough times and I've showed them. Look at that. This has had injectors down on it. And how I know that is because at the dealership, at Mack and at Volvo, their techs, they've got to do what them engineers tell them that they got to do, and that, you know, and that's leave that bottom O-ring off of there to flood that cup to help cool it, because this series had major issues with cracking the cups. And had that been factory injectors in there, well, guess what they do at the factory? They put that O-ring on there, because they're like, yep, that gives out a warranty. And then we can, you know, put a set of cups in there, and we'll leave that O-ring off out there. Now, there's a paste that I use that I put on the bottom of the ball, this O-ring right here, of this injector. Now, I'm going to tell you what, there's whoever had done some installation on this, it was piss poor. Let's look down in that hole. Of course, you're not going to see real good. Let me try to expand out here. Now, what you're looking at down the bottom of that hole, and you see a little carbon down there in the very bottom is black. I know it's hard for you guys to see it. Let me swing it back up. But these are not pitted up too bad. You're going to be looking down in there. Really need a bore scope. And as soon as I seen that injector, and y'all seen it at the same time I did, I just pulled it out of the hole. As soon as I seen that injector, I'm like, okay, it ain't gonna need cups, because they done cups. And it's not that they done piss poor job. Well, whoever done this one probably did in a hurry. I see absolutely no evidence of paste in the bottom of this hole. No evidence of the paste on the bottom of the injector. And reason why you paste that up real good when they want you to leave that bottom O-ring off is they're counting on the very first time you fire this unit up after you've done the injectors, is the combustion gas is going to come up in there on that paste, and it's going to burn itself in place, and it's going to seal this thing up. In theory. In real life, 1 time out of 99, that shit works. Pardon my French. But, you know, been there, done that. I've got 11 t-shirts. But you can count, just like I told you in the previous video, if you guys are going to do this job, and you suspect that, which we know right now that the injector O-ring's not on the bottom, and we can see that whoever done this job, they didn't paste that ball like they should have. With me, it gets both. I paste the bottom up real good. I make sure that cup is clean, which it is. I'm looking down in there. I need to get my bore scope one day and show you. You'll see down in the bottom of that cup, some pitting is okay. But if you see streaking down on the side of that cup, okay, you know that it's developed a crack. And today's coolants have an additive in it that it'll leave a white chalky little streak running through, really telltale about what's going on in there. And I don't see it. But if I see it on one of these other injectors, which I doubt, I'll show you guys. But y'all give me, this is going to take a little bit. I gotta suck this hole out, clean it up, prep this injector, put both the damn O-rings on it like it's supposed to be, and get her back down in the hole. But I'll probably catch y'all after I've done all the injectors and have set the shaft back down on it. And because you just the opposite of how you put it up there. You put your pry stick on the back and you ease it over. One little difference, you put both of them are going to be in the same place in the middle. You're going to use one to push it over and one to hold it, and you'll set it right back down on your rocker arms. But give me a minute and I'll be back with you. Alright then, I've got the tube here for my cylinder sucker. I'm going to take it, get down in this injector hole right here, and shove it right down through the middle of that. Get her all the way down in there. There you go. Get right on down on there on top of that piston. Then, as you can see, well, you're so close to it that this is that hand vacuum pump that you just stroke it, creates a vacuum down here in this canister, and it'll start pulling. I don't know if you can see that coming up by there. Maybe you can see it come over the top. Well, it don't show real good on the camera, but it's pulling that fuel up out of that hole. Yeah. Actually, it's doing a pretty good job. Yeah, it's good. That's good. Let me give her a little bit more. But you make sure you do this. Maybe you can see it a little bit. Yeah, it's not showing up. I can see it looking at it because it's mostly fuel and it's not a whole lot of oil. And it does. Well, if it had a little more oil in it, you guys could have seen it. It running up that tube coming over here into the reservoir. That I'm going to get this vacuumed out real good. Then I'm going to clean up this cup, and we'll look down in there. But even without having it good and clean right now, I can tell that the cups are in good shape. Now give me another minute, and I'll be right back with you. All right, then. That's pretty stinking clean right there. It focus. Yep. There's no pitting, no streaking. Try to get where the light The camera just ain't showing it like I'm seeing it. Get over there. Yeah, it's not going to give you guys a good picture. That's not too terrible bad right there. But she's good and clean down in there. And I've got all of the fuel evacuated out of the hole. Now I'm going to paste up the bottom of the injector. Well, get the O-rings on it. And like I've told you before, when I put my O-rings on, I use clean motor oil on the O-rings. Paste the bottom of that mug up, get her back down in the hole. And I'll show you the paste on the bottom of the injector with the O-rings on it. And then after that, I'm going to get on with the job. And I'll bring you back after I've got the shaft back on it. But I'll see you in a minute. All right then. I've got the O-ring, both of them. And as you can see, I've got the bottom of that rascal pasted up real good. Now, I'm going to do what I told you there just a minute ago. I'm going to go ahead and get these injectors done and get the shaft down on there. And I'll get back with you guys in a minute. Well, you know something? A little bit of a something? I was telling you that I wasn't going to come back till I had the rocker shaft down there on all the injectors in, but I came across something here. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell it, but look down in that hole. You see the outer part of the ring from the center. You see how it looks like it's copper? Well, that tells you that this is one of the holes that was making it hard start. Fuel's running down by it, and combustion gases was burning right there. And another good telltale sign, and you guys remember how nice and clean and everything the bottom of the other injector looked, even though it didn't have paste on it. Looky there. How dark that is. Coming all the way up to the shaft to the bottom of the only O-ring that was on it. And there was no paste in this hole either. So that's what happens to you when you, especially it didn't even have a fighting chance on this one. These guys didn't paste it up and they didn't put the O-ring on it. But I'm going to get this hole sucked out, and I hope, I'll look at it later when I get home. Might try to throw this out there this evening. It might be tomorrow. But that is the telltale. You look down in there once you've popped it out. If you're wondering which hole it was, and I'm sure I'm going to find a couple more, but that was combustion gases getting by there. Gives you that look around the bottom of that cup. Now it's going to clean up and be all right. But because there's no pitting and stuff down there, and you can have some pitting, but I was like, you guys might want to see that, because I've been telling you that you'll know when you get to the hole or holes that are giving you a fit. Now this thing ran good after it started. It's just, he said, slightly down on power in the mountains when he's pulling, which would be because your fuel pressure is going to be low because you're losing pressure going by that. But I wanted to show you guys that. Yep, there it is. But now I will do the rest of these injectors and put the shaft in, and I'll catch you back in a minute. Hey, I want to show you a little something. This pedestal right here, and this oil tube. There's an O-ring under the bottom of that and on that tube. When you put this thing back together, make sure you get both them O-rings in there. Well, all right then. She's back together. Now, I wanted to show you something. When you guys are doing this blue control line, zoom in, it runs down there to the compressor on that, where it goes in that fitting. Just be mindful the whole time you're up in there and you're wandering around. them lines get hot and brittle, and they'll break off in that fitting. And maybe once out of 1,000 times, I've managed to actually dig the pieces out and just cut that hose off and put it in. But most time that ain't happening. If you don't have a fitting, you're kind of DRT, dead right there. You know what I mean? Another something I wanted to show you is this coolant line. Runs out of the tank, the reservoir, comes in. When you're taking this bypass pipe off, make sure that you're real careful, and them plastic lines are brittle too. Do not bind that thing up and snap it off, because especially on a Sunday or Saturday, you're doing this in the parking lot, you ain't gonna get it, and it ain't gonna go. I mean, because that's the vent tube going up into the reservoir. And another thing, I got thinking about it, and I was like, for you guys that if you're just starting out and you're getting out on your own and you're wanting to do these, especially on the 12 liters and the early 13s, it's imperative that if somebody wants you to do injector O-rings on them, you tell them you'll come listen to it. You reach in there and fire that mug up. Now, you hear any excessive lash under that valve cover, ticking, you guys that are just starting, pass it up. Don't do the job, because I'm going to tell you, 12 liters, especially in the early 13s, were bad about eating valves on number 5. I have seen other holes, but for the most part, it seems like it's on number 5. And then if it's, not terrible and you got to set the valves on it, like the 12 liters in the early 13s, there's a shim kit that you got to have and shim these. Like, this one is the newer style, so you can just adjust it. But the older style and the 12 liters, you got, and the shim kit, the last one I bought was like $1,000, $1,100. And it's different thicknesses on them shims that you put in there to set this lash and get it right. Unless you got that kind of money and you got that kind of equipment, let it alone. Let that wait for another day when you've been around in a minute and you've got more experience and you can dive off in it. Because I'm going to tell you, you're going to find out, you get under the valve covers of them things, and you got some of them exhaust valves, especially back here on number 5, you're going to be like, why are they so tight? That's because the valve's already wearing up into the head, into the seat. And she's ready to eat one. Which means it's going to eat you if you've done the job. So, if you're just getting started at it and doing it, and you want to do a set of injector O-rings, do mid-series and newer on the D13s and the MP8s. They're a heck of a lot more forgiving. They're not known to be eating valves like the earlier ones. And you can make a good dollar at it. But if I walk up on one and I hear all that noise, first thing I'm going to tell the owner is, yeah, I'll do it. The job's going to run you about $17,000. And he's going to have a heart attack. And then I'm going to inform him, well, I'm going to put a reman head on it because I know what's going on. This is an issue that you're having, along with, yeah, you got some piss poor injector cups and O-rings in there. But this other noise I hear from experience, yeah, I won't touch the job unless we do that. But I've got her all primed up. And we're going to fire this mug up. Oh, yes. Alrighty. Let's get us a little. Hey, didn't turn over near as many times as I thought it was going to. but I primed on it. Like I didn't have nothing better to do. Just saying. Let's get out here and put a listen on it. Of course, on the phone y'all can't really tell. I'm gonna tell you what, she sounds good, smooth. It had I done cups, which it didn't need, and there was number 5 and 6 along with 2 had that copper look down in the bottom there where them exhaust gases is coming up by it. Had the whole bottom of the injector just black. They're all pasted up now. Got both them O-rings on there. If y'all gonna do this now, listen to me. If you want this thing to make it on down the road there for at least a year or so, put them on there. They left the factory with them. We can't help it if their design on that dang injector cup down there, they didn't have enough coolant floating around that thing to keep it cool, keep it from cracking. That's on them. But I'm gonna let this thing run a minute. Probably gonna go ahead and hook it up with a laptop, put it in regen, so I can watch all my fuel pressures and everything. You guys that's got your software, some of the earlier ones you don't have fuel pressure sensors that you can just actually see the pressure that's at the cups. But go on ahead and put the thing in regen. While you're in the regen screen, you can see what kind of fuel pressure you're feeding the AHI module, the hydrocarbon dosing valve out there. Yeah, and if she's up there in the 60-ish, 61 to 65, you're good. Just watch it steady and just put it in a short regen. Don't do like a crystal sublimation or something like that. Just you know, you're looking 30, 45 minutes most time on these Volvos. Let that thing run out, watch that fuel pressure, and that'll tell you, okay, I didn't cut it O-ring or anything like that while I was in there. But y'all have an absolutely wonderful day, and I'll catch you later.
Thank you for watching Parked Up Garage.